disturb your peace of mind. Start by forming good habits to replace the bad and old, and your character will change to one that's blissful and divine. And your character will change to one that's blissful and divine.
Madhuvata ritayate madhuksharanti sindhavaha madhuirna santoshadhihi madhunakta mutoshasi madhumatparthivagum rajaha madhudhyorastu nafpita madhumano vanaspatir madhumagum astu suryaha vadhir madhuir vago bhavantunaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, may the winds bring us happiness. May the rivers carry happiness to us. May the herbs give us happiness. May night and day yield us happiness. May the dust of the earth bring us happiness. May the heavens give us happiness. May the sun pour down happiness. May the cows yield us happiness. Om, peace, peace, peace. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will. Romans 12:2. I am your constant companion. I am your greatest helper and heaviest burden. I will push you onward and drag you down to failure. I am completely at your command. Half of the things you do, you might as well turn over to me, and I will do them quickly and correctly. I am easily managed. You must be firm with me. Show me exactly how you want something done, and after a few lessons, I will do it automatically. I am the servant of great people, and alas, of all failures as well. Those who are great, I have made great. Those who are failures, I have made failures. I am not a machine, though. I work with the precision of a machine plus the intelligence of a person. You may run me for profit or run me for ruin. It makes no difference to me. Take me, train me, be firm with me, and I will place the world at your feet. Be easy with me, and I will destroy you. Who am I? I am habit. I am discipline. Good morning, everyone. Happy to be here in Hollywood again, among my friends and brothers. Well, I can see that you guys are wearing masks. Disciplined, indeed. Today's topic is a disciplined life. Why, you must be wondering, why, Swami, discipline? Really? Well, I don't know if you have noticed, but life is all about discipline. You cannot get anything in life without this treasure we call discipline. We come to this world to practice discipline if we really want to live, if we really want to lead and live a good life, if we really want to achieve anything in life, we must practice discipline. Bummer, I know. But we have to understand discipline. We have to understand that discipline is a magic word. Discipline is the most incredible creative force. Discipline is the bridge between thought and accomplishment. The bridge between inspiration and value achievement. Discipline is the open door to the creative process to turn nothing into something and to turn imagination into reality. Without discipline, there is no enterprise. Without discipline, there is no magnificent structure. Without discipline, there is no music. Without discipline, there is no health. Without discipline, we wouldn't have had geniuses and saints. What is discipline? According to Merriam-Webster, we have to recur to the dictionary. Control. Control gained by enforcing obedience or order. I know control is a word that we are not very comfortable with. Discipline sounds better. It gives you a little more room, a little flexibility, or you feel at least like that. But the meaning also is self-control. Self-control, in other words, self-discipline. Commitment to harmony and self-restraint. Self-discipline is how our self-control is gained. Self-discipline is the ability to make yourself do what you should do. Self-discipline is the ability to make yourself do what you should do, when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. In a way, discipline is freedom. Discipline can lead to the sense of freedom and happiness. When you do it, you feel good. You are not worried anymore. You know you have done what you had to do. Michael Beckwith, writing his book, Spiritual Liberation, The gift of self-discipline is that it has the power to take you beyond the I don't feel like it. And that's a syndrome. And honor your commitment to yourself. The gift of self-discipline is that it has the power to take you beyond the I don't feel like it syndrome, and honor your commitment to yourself. Commitment. What does not feeling like it have to do with it? Does it? It's commitment, period. The combination of love for something with the willingness to do what it takes to practice it. Discipline results in freedom. Discipline provides people with the rules to live their lives efficiently and effectively. When you have discipline in your life, you can make small sacrifices in the present for a better life in the future. Discipline creates habits. Habits makes routines, and routines become who you are daily. The habits and daily disciplines you create will eventually determine who you become. Simple, but not so. Discipline is like a muscle. Discipline can be trained. The more you work on your discipline, the stronger it becomes. But how can you introduce discipline? How can we introduce discipline in our lives? Is it like, well, if I feel like it, you just do it. Period. I know it's a known statement. Just do it. Do you understand the philosophy? Just do it. Period. Discipline is when one uses reason to determine the best course of action, regardless of one's desires. You must understand through your reason that just do it. It's the philosophy, the first and secret ingredient, the philosophy behind discipline. What you understand, what you embrace. A life philosophy is something simple, so basic, a 6-year-old child can understand. Ralph Waldo Emerson, in his essay on compensation, gives an example of a life philosophy. Do the thing. Just do the thing, and you shall have the power. Do the thing, and you shall have the power. Wow. We are human beings. We can make that decision. Profoundly simple and profoundly powerful. The sort of wisdom you can actually apply in everyday life. Nike said pretty much the same thing, only with a fewer words. Just do it. I like it. Your philosophy is your view of life, something beyond feelings and attitudes. Your philosophy drives your attitudes and feelings, which eventually will drive your actions. What is the philosophy? You just need to understand there is nothing else. As simple as that. Swami Vivekananda says, the world is nothing but a statement of facts as they are. Good, bad. When it comes to life, we all come here to practice this. Just do it. When a man is sufficiently motivated, discipline will take care of itself. Now, discipline is even higher than motivation. It is true that to give it a kick, to start rolling, for the ball to start rolling, you have to feel motivated. But after that, all it takes is just do it. It's not, oh, I am not motivated today. I don't feel motivated anymore. Or I'm busy. You just do it. Discipline will take care of itself. Who says this? Albert Einstein? Sometimes I mispronounce it. Einstein. Just do it. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, chapter 4, part 4, 5, we find Kama maya evaya purushaiti sayata kamo bhavati tat kritur bhavati yat kritur bhavati tat karma kurute yata karma kurute tada abhisamapadyate. Kama maya evaya purushaiti sayata kamo bhavati tat kritur bhavati yat kritur bhavati tata karma kurute yata karma kurute tada abhisamapadyate. What is the meaning? You are what your deep driving attitude is. As your attitude is, so is your will. As your will is, so is your action. As your action is, so is your destiny. It was there already. 7,000 years, we don't really know. It's coming from the Vedas, so it has no beginning. You are what your deep driving attitude is. Do you understand the philosophy behind discipline? As your attitude is, so is your will. As your will is, so is your action. As your action is, so is your destiny. It's the understanding behind the attitudes that are behind your actions. Think of your attitude as a mental filter which you experience the world. Some people see the world through the filter of optimism, the glass being half full, while others see life through the filter of pessimism, the glass half empty. Attitudes are generally positive or negative. A positive philosophy turns into a positive attitude, which turns into a positive actions, which turns into positive actions, which turns into positive results, which turns into a positive lifestyle. Now, the same force can take you otherwise. A negative philosophy turns into a negative attitude, which turns into negative actions, which turns into negative results, which turns into a negative lifestyle. As simple as that. Your philosophy is what you know, how you hold it, how you hold what you know, and how it affects what you do. I was reading a book by Jocko Willink. He served the Navy for over 20 years. He was in combat in Iraq. So he describes this. I was fascinated because oh wow, just by practicing it, he discovered the truth. What is it? Where does discipline come from? He says, discipline comes from within. Discipline is an internal force. Sure, you can have discipline imposed on you by a person, like an instructor, but the reality is, he won't give you real discipline. Because that is external discipline. And external discipline is not as strong. It's dependent. It's not intrinsic. It will not survive. It cannot stand on its own. What you are looking for, what you need, is self-discipline. Self-discipline, as the very term implies, comes from self, being. It comes from you. It comes when you make a decision. I am going to do it. I am going to be disciplined. Period. When you make a decision to be better, when you make a decision to be more, to do more. Self-discipline comes when you decide to make a difference, to put a mark in the world. Why not? Why not? If you don't think you are disciplined, it is because you haven't decided to be disciplined yet. It's because you haven't created it yet. You haven't become it yet. So where does it come from? It comes from within you. So make that decision. Become the discipline. Embrace its cold and relentless power. And it will make you better and stronger, and smarter, and faster, and healthier than anything else. And most important, it will make you free. So, we have to make that decision. I mean, I'm hoping that by now you guys are thinking about not just your life, which is spiritual, but also your spiritual life, which is also spiritual. What you want to achieve in life and in your spiritual life, hopefully the same. So when you make that decision, You have to make that commitment. You have to become the disciple. What was that? The disciple? Didn't you know? Discipline comes from discipulus, the Latin word for pupil, which also provides the source for disciple. Everybody wants to be the teacher. Nobody wants to be the disciple. Nobody wants to be a disciple. And in life, you have to walk the path with that attitude. As humble as a disciple. And that's discipline. We have to become the discipline. There is no other way. Sorry about that. Well, in my last talk, I don't think it was here, it was in Trabuco, I talked about establishing spiritual habits. I talk about the concept of micro-atomic habits. In fact, there is a book I recommended, Atomic Habits, by James Clear. It's a very good book. Now I would like to bring back this idea of atomic habits or micro habits, but under the concept of what is called the slight edge. The slight edge. Very sharp indeed. Now, what is the slight edge? The slight edge is the belief that small actions done consistently over a period of time lead to a massive differentiation in results. Small actions. Small actions. No, I don't feel like a little bit. But I just want to get distracted. I don't want to meditate. I don't feel like meditating. Just a little bit. Don't feel like doing japam. Sit down 5 minutes. We are told that we are supposed to remember the Lord. In Advaitic terms, remember our source, who we truly are. If we forget that, there is no hope. A little bit. Make it a point that will grow. In time, you will see the results. You will see the fruits. The slight edge is a philosophy, a way of thinking. Is the understanding that if something is easy to do, just close your eyes and offer yourself. It's also not easy to do. How's that? If it's easy, it's also not easy? It depends on you, whether you do it or not. Something like going for a walk, if you want to, improve your health, it can take 10 minutes to walk around the block. But since it's so easy to do, it's also easy just to go, I won't do it today. 10 minutes. Something as simple as reading 10 pages, if you are into reading, every day, anyone can do it. 10 pages. How much? How long would it take? 20 minutes? 30 minutes? But it's also not easy to do. You just don't do it. The slight edge carries this idea that small, meaningful decisions compounded over time make you successful. It's not the major choices of life choices, that make you, or that you make, that will make you successful. Yes, you have a goal, but how to get there is the tiny little things, the tiny little to-do that you do every day that compound. It helps us to make simple daily choices and take small actions, creating the compound effect to deliver the lives we desire. Now, this concept was created or explained, delivered by Jeff Olson in his book, The Slight Edge. The slight edge, he says, is always working. I love it. It's always working, whether for you or against you. The slight edge is already at work in your life and always will be, regardless your age. It's never too late. Every day, every moment. You should become aware of it. How it is working in your life, every day, every hour, at every moment, in every step you take, and in every choice you make. That slight, sharp edge. Everything you do, everything you need to do to transform your life is easy to do. Everything you need to do to transform your life is easy to do. Well, you didn't think that, huh? You did not think so. We always think big and, how am I going to get there? Small deeds every day. Small seeds. It's just a matter of mastering the mundane, of repeating simple little disciplines that, done consistently over time, will add up to the very biggest accomplishments. Of course, it's just as easy not to do or not do. See the philosophy behind? Just do it. Should be on your walls everywhere. I actually think about it when I just do it. But that simple, seemingly insignificant error in judgment, compounded over time, will ruin your chances for success. You can count on it. That's the choice you face every day, every hour. That seemingly insignificant error, just one day, tomorrow, maybe mañana. A simple, positive action repeated over time. A simple error in judgment repeated over time. So easy to do, so easy not to do. The slight edge is all about living in the moment. You can't find a slight edge in the past or in the future. It's only right here and now. You can make that decision. It's not tomorrow. It's right now. doing the little things that seem insignificant consistently over time. How do you use this slight edge in your life? Know what matters to you. Know what matters to you. Think of your goals, what you want to achieve in life, what you want to be. Write them down on your walls. I know, in the bathroom. You should be able to see it. Do the little things every day to help you move towards your goals. That's all. Commitment and consistency. Become the disciple. Become the discipline. Let's talk about the spiritual world. Let's talk about our spiritual life, which to me is not different, because after all, we are human beings. We are still here in this world. And if at all we are disciples of our main teacher, the world. We have to learn from it. Time and again, we keep coming to this world, and we are not paying attention. What do we want in our life? I know, this is the Vedanta main principle. We start from here. What do you want? You want to be fulfilled. You want fulfillment. You want to feel complete. How ironic it is that we want, even in our spiritual life, that we desire, even in our spiritual world. We usually try to achieve this feeling of fullness by satisfying our desires, consuming things, consuming pleasures, but this is often not the best approach to actually achieving happiness or fulfillment. Let's go to Plato, the ancient great Greek philosopher. He's great too. The student of Socrates and the founder of the Platonist school of thought. He says, suppose there are two men, each of whom has many jars. The jars belonging to one of them are sound and full ones, with wine, another with honey, the third one with milk, and many others with lots of other things. And suppose that the sources of each of these things are scarce and difficult to come by, procurable only with much toil and trouble. Now the one man, having filled up his jars, doesn't pour anything more into them, and gives them no further thought. He can relax over them. As for the other one, his containers are leaky and rotten. He is forced to keep filling them day and night, or else he suffers extreme pain. What Plato does is he compares our souls with jars. When you are satisfied with what you have, then you are like a full jar. And then you feel good, and then you relax. Does it happen all the time? Time. Not so easy. But happiness is a kind of satisfaction. It's not a sensory feeling of pleasure. Rather, it's a psychological sense of being full, of having everything you need and everything you want, and not needing anything else. It's a psychological sense. But when you are not happy, then your soul is like a leaky jar, which you have to keep filling up in order to feel full. You have a constant nagging feeling of needing more and more pleasure all the time. You always need something. Does it sound familiar to you? I guess. I'm sure. I know that. Yes. Sometimes you are unable to fill up your jar. What do you do then? You are left feeling empty or bitter or hollow inside. You feel unhappy. Now, Plato says that you should discipline your desires. Say no to them. Be disciplined. And this is based on the nature of the world, because there is nothing we can do about it. I don't know if you're aware of it, but we are slaves. Slaves of nature. We come to this world to practice discipline. Say no, period. Now, Plato says that you should discipline your desires. Say no to them. Be disciplined. This is how you patch up. You patch up your leaky soul so that you can feel full. When you can't get what you desire, you simply change your desire. That's how you achieve fullness. A person who wants to be happy must evidently pursue and practice self-discipline. Each one of us must flee away from lack of discipline as quickly as possible. Instead of letting our desires control us, we must control our desires. Rule our appetites instead of being ruled by them. Is it clear? Yeah, I know. Plato says the key to happiness is being self-controlled and master of oneself, ruling the pleasures and appetites within oneself. My dear friends, it's desire that leads to misery and being unfulfilled. Only by self-control, by making sense of it. Let's think about it. Sit down. Let's talk. Only by self-control can you achieve a sense of fullness and satisfaction. And this is the good life. The life that is adequate instead of the insatiable and disciplined life. Now, this idea would later evolve into a much more radical philosophy. I talked about this in my previous talks. It's called Stoicism. Love it. Recommend it. Which focused on finding happiness. Stoicism focuses on finding happiness and peace by accepting the world as it is. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus famously said, "Demand not that events should happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do happen in your life." and your life will go serene. The reason you are unhappy is because you want your life to be different than it is. Again, it's about your desires. You are unhappy because your desires are ruling you. You wish you were single. You wish you were married. You wish you were more talented. You wish you were smarter. You wish things were different. That's the source of misery. But what if you liked being the way you are? What if you were content with who you are and the way your life goes? Or, if you really want something, which is valid, what if you focus on changing the things that you can change, changing the things that you can change by effort, and accepting the things that you cannot change? That's how the world goes and grows and evolves. Stoicism says that there is no reason to be miserable over things that are outside your control. Our friend, teacher, superhero, Swami Vivekananda says, when a man begins to see the vanity of worldly things, he will feel he ought not to be thus played upon or borne along by nature. That's slavery. If a man has a few kind words said to him, he begins to smile. And when he hears a few harsh words, he begins to weep. He is a slave to a bit of bread, to a breath of air, a slave to dress, a slave to patriotism, to country, to name, to fame. He is thus in the midst of slavery, and the real man has become buried within through his bondage. What you call man is a slave. When one realizes all this slavery, then comes the desire to be free. When you just open your eyes and see what it is, stop. Then comes the desire to be free. An intense desire comes. If a piece of burning charcoal be placed on a man's head, see how he struggles to throw it off. Can bear the heat. Similar will be the struggles for freedom of a man who really understands that he's a slave of nature. In the Mandukya Upanishad, we find with the help of that proper process, one should bring under discipline the mind that remains dispersed amidst objects of desire and enjoyment. Concentration is repeatedly inculcated in order to emphasize the fact of its being the best discipline. Get hold of yourselves. Get hold of your attention. That is the best discipline. A man who has become free from hankering for all desirable objects is then said to be self-absorbed. Self, capital self-absorbed. When he controlled his mind, when the mind is controlled, he rests in the self alone. When the disciplined mind rests in the self alone and is free from craving, then it is said to have attained union. It's all in Sanskrit. I'm not going to chant it because there is no time. But you know how it is. It's kind of nice to chant it in Sanskrit, but let's move on. As a lamp kept in a windless place does not flicker, such is the simile thought of. Such is the simile thought of. For the yogi whose mind is under control and who is engaged in concentration of the self. Engage in concentration on the self. Like a lamp kept in a windless place that does not flicker. So is the yogi's mind under control. He is engaged in the concentration on the self. Great is the glory of the immanent soul who is all-pervading, all-knowing, infinite, and self-luminous. Only those rare few who know undergo the necessary discipline and spiritual practices. The wise do indeed control the activities of the intellect and practice meditation and concentration. For in all the scriptures without exception dealing with spirituality, whatever are the characteristics of a man of realization are themselves presented as the disciplines for an aspirant, because these characteristics are the result of effort. And those that are the disciplines requiring effort, they become the characteristics of a man of realization. Swami Brahmananda says, nothing can be achieved without a spiritual discipline. Have you not seen what severe disciplines even the avatars, teachers of the world, underwent? Has anything been gained without labor? What tremendous austerities were practiced by Buddha, Shankara, and others? What burning renunciation. Be self-reliant. Self-effort is absolutely necessary to success in the spiritual life. Follow some spiritual discipline for at least 3 years. The slight edge. Every day. As much as you can. Make that commitment. Follow some spiritual discipline for at least 3 years. And then, if you find you have made no tangible progress, you may come back and slap my face. That's great. Who dares, right? Sri Ramakrishna says, the world is water and the mind is milk. If you pour milk into water, they become one. You cannot find the pure milk anymore. But turn the milk into curd and churn it into butter. Then, when that butter is placed in water, it will float. There is hope. There is a secret. And the secret is discipline. Simple as that. Discipline. Then, when that butter is placed in water, it will float. So, practice spiritual discipline in solitude and obtain the butter of knowledge and love. Even if you keep that butter in water, in the water of the world, the two will not mix. The butter will float. These are well-known illustrations from Sri Ramakrishna. I know you know them, you read them. But right now, they are so good that we remember this, and we are reminded of this. A little spiritual discipline is necessary in order to know what lies within. he says. M, his disciple. Is it necessary to practice discipline all through life? Master, this is wonderful. No. What did you think? Honestly, you just say yes. But he says no, but one must be up and doing in the beginning. In time, it becomes your second nature. You become a master. After that, one need not work hard. The helmsman stands up and clutches the rudder firmly as long as the boat is passing through waves, storms, high winds, and around the curves of a river. But he relaxes after steering through them. As soon as the boat passes the curves and the helmsman feels a favorable wind, he sits comfortably and just touches the rudder. Next, he prepares to unfurl the sail and gets ready for a smoke. Wonderful. Likewise, the aspirant enjoys peace and calm after passing the waves and storms of lust and greed. Vivekananda says again, God alone is our goal. Failing to reach God, we die and come back and come back. What is God? I leave it up to you. As many present here, so many gods. Three things, he says, are necessary to the student who wishes to succeed. Three things. First, give up all ideas of enjoyment in this world and the next. Care only for what we call God and the truth. We are here to know the truth, not for enjoyment. We are here to figure this out. Not to fall into the snares of the world. Leave that to brutes who enjoy as we never can. Man is a thinking being and must struggle on until he conquers death, until he sees the light. He must not spend himself in vain talking that bears no fruit. Blah, blah, blah. Philosophy, philosophy. Show it to me. It's not easy, I know. But hey, just do it. Second, intense desire to know the truth. Be eager for God and truth. Long for them. As a drowning man longs for breath. Want only God. Take nothing else. Let no seeming cheat you any longer. No seeming cheat you any longer. The third thing that is required to succeed, hardest part, 6 trainings. First, restraining the mind from going outward. Second, restraining the senses. Third, turning the mind inward. Fourth, suffering everything without murmuring. Don't complain. Fifth, fastening the mind to one idea. Take the subject before you and think it out. Never leave it. 6, think constantly of your real nature. Constantly. Get rid of superstition. Do not hypnotize yourself into the belief in your own inferiority. Day and night, tell yourself what you really are until you realize your oneness with the everything, your oneness with God. Without these disciplines, no results can be gained. We can be conscious of the absolute, but we can never express it. The moment we try to express it, we limit it. We limit it by our identity. And ceases to be the absolute. We have to go beyond the sense limit and transcend even reason, and we have the power to do this. By patience, you can discipline your desires. Be patient. Love yourself. There must be a root cause. Try to understand. Patience. By self-control, you can develop a strong character. By practicing gentleness, you can become as a little child. Beautiful. By purifying the subconscious, you may become perfect. Lao Tzu. Understand your philosophy. What's your philosophy for life? Understand what you need to do. What's your goal? And just do it. Just do it. There is no other way. You have to understand the world is not going to change, but you can. With determination and commitment, make up your mind to aspire for the highest. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. I am your constant companion. I am your greatest helper or heaviest burden. I will push you onward or drag you down to failure. I am completely at your command. Become the disciple. Become the discipline. Who am I? I am discipline. Thank you. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, that outer world is Purna, full of divine consciousness. This inner world is also Purna, full of divine consciousness. From Purna comes Purna. From the fullness of divine consciousness, the world is manifested. Taking Purna from Purna, Purna indeed remains, because divine consciousness is non-dual and infinite. Om, peace, peace, peace. Thank you all.
Thank you to Swami. Just a moment.
So,
thank you to Swami Dhyanayogananda for your inspiring talk. The Swami stays in Trabuco, our Ramakrishna monastery in Trabuco, and you also have classes there, but they're suspended till September. Is that right?
Correct. Yes.
And there's usually a Sunday afternoon class in Spanish language also.
Yes, for the time being it's suspended.
And that's suspended. We'll resume in September. So keep an eye out for that. Next week our speaker will be Swami Sarvadevananda, the head of our center, and his topic is 2 paths of exit. Otherwise, our classes here in Hollywood continue in person and live streamed on our YouTube channel. Tuesday afternoon, Narada's Way of Divine Love. Tuesday evening, Shanti Gita. Wednesday evening, Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Thursday evening, Bhagavad Gita. Saturday morning, meditation. Other questions?
How to overcome panic thoughts and how to break the loop of panic thoughts.
There's a question, how to overcome panic thoughts and how to break the loop of panic thoughts. I'm not sure if it relates entirely to our topic today, but
well, the source is fear, and we should, with the strength, we should try to confront that. We should try to see the root cause of that fear. In religious language, we say we pray. We also have to confront. Try to find out what is the root cause of that. Yes, next. Jai Ma, thank you.